Hey, hello there, everyone, and welcome to the update and Fueling Your Faith. Now, we've had all sorts of things going on this week, and it was great to do a live stream from the hub. Being there and recording it, it felt like God was doing something more significant in terms of his manifest presence through that. And I know, speaking to a few people who watched it in their homes, that they felt, yeah, there was something more going on there. God seemed to anoint something. So I hope that was your experience as well. That's our heart, that's our desire. So you encounter God through those meetings. So I'm looking forward to this week. We're going to get better and better at it. We're spending a little bit of money on various bits and pieces trying to make it better every time. So just to say, hey, that's going to improve. We're only going to get better at that. That's exciting. Now, the other thing that happened is that we obviously desire to be back together. And thank you so much to everyone who answered the survey that we did last week. The overriding kind of majority of people who filled in the survey said, yeah, we would love to be back together as soon as possible, obviously with all the right restrictions and if we're allowed to do all that kind of stuff, but we'd love to be back together as soon as possible. Now, yesterday, whilst the announcement was made that churches could gather again from the 3rd of July, the announcement kind of didn't have any detail, and it was only yesterday that the government released what that actually meant in terms of their detailed guidance. You are welcome to read it. It's on the government website. But it's really interesting. But obviously there's a lot there for us to process, to work through. There's some big restrictions on singing, some big restrictions on things like communion, big restrictions on baptisms. There's so many things, even in terms of just gathering together and social distancing and what that means. We're still processing that as a leadership team. So really do pray for us as we work out, well, what can this look like for us? How do we still be us, and at the same time adhere to that? So there's lots of questions. I don't have the answer. I don't have all the questions yet, so I don't have any answers. But we are working on that, and as soon as we get to a point where we've got some plans and thoughts, we'll share those with you. Obviously, what we'll say is that we're going to be live streaming from now on until Jesus returns. I think probably that's our plan. So that's going to form a big part of our strategy. So don't worry, that's not going away anytime soon. I know it's been great. We've got quite a few people sign up for Exploring Hope. Exploring Hope is kind of like our opportunity to find out all about hope, but also our membership course as well. So if you are interested in finding out a bit more about us, or if you want to do the membership course, hey, you've been thinking, I don't know what to do that. Usually we have a meal with it. This time we're just going to do a Zoom in an evening. So 7:30, we've got a number of people signed up already. If you'd like to sign up for that, just contact the office at hopecommunitychurch.co.uk. That would be really awesome. Or you can find it in Church Suite if you're on Church Suite. So that's something that you can do. We're going to have a good time together. I'm looking forward to that on this Thursday. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, I was just chewing over the whole thing of fueling your faith. And one of the things I found, I was doing this morning actually, I found on our Facebook page, we've got something called Stories of Hope. And Stories of Hope Facebook page, if you're not connected with that, you can do that. Is a page where we've shared stories of what God has done, and that's what I mean by testimonies, not personal salvation testimony, but just stories, testimonies. We're testifying to what God has done. From back in February 2018, believe it or not. And it was just so great to read those stories of, oh, God healed me of this, or God did this for my workplace, or God spoke to me in this way. It was so encouraging. And the importance and the power of testimony in our personal faith is really, really important. A lot of you will know, if you've heard me speak at all, that one of my favourite Charles Spurgeon quotes is that what God has done before is precedent for what he will do again. God is prophesying and saying, I will do it again based upon what I did before. And in the Bible, there's a great story in Genesis 28 where Jacob, he's just had the encounter with God and the dream of the going up to heaven and stuff, and he's encountered God. And what he does is he gets a stone and he puts it in the place, and he says, this is to mark, this place is going to be called Bethel. This is the place where I met with God. And why is that important? Because, well, when he comes back to that place, he sees the stone and it reminds him of, oh yeah, I met with God there. And we all need those reminders. We all need those reminders of, hey, this is what God does. And so what testimony does, it reminds us that we, individually, we met with God, but also it says, hey, God does meet with people too. And when that Spurgeon quote means is that what you can do is say, well, God met with me there, or God healed me there, or God did that miracle there, or God did that thing there. That means he's going to do it again. So that fuels my faith. And what you can do as well is that it's not just your own personal stories that you can fuel your faith from here. You can actually use those of other people and go, God healed that knee thing for that person. I've got a bad knee. Well, okay, if he did it there, that means he's going to do it again here. Even though you may not have experienced that yet. It's a precedent deal. God is saying, look, I can do this. And we can fuel our faith and say almost to God, look, God, you did it there. Will you do this thing again? So it might be provision, it might be work related, it might be family related, emotional related, it might be a healing deal, it might be a salvation thing of a lost son or a daughter, whatever it may be. God says, look, I've done it before. I'm going to do it again. So I'd encourage you, get on the Stories of Hope on the Facebook page. Just scroll back a few months or a year and just have a look at what God has been doing. Let that sink in. Remind yourself that he's a miracle worker. Remind yourself that he's a God who saves. Remind yourself that he's a God who provides. And fuel your faith with those. There we go. That's my blessing and thought for the day. Really have a great week. And I really look forward to Sunday and our live stream. Every blessing. Bye-bye.